So I come back again with another tag video, and this one is Reader's Problems tag, and I was again inspired by Becca Awesome Booknut, and I will link her video down below because I really like her and she really motivated me to do booktube, and I really like her tags and everything about her videos. First question. You have 20,000 books on your TBR. How in the world do you decide what to read next? First of all, sometimes people decide for me because I ask books for Christmas and I just give them the whole TBR list and they buy some books and so I read those books because I have them. Hello, it's the last time you're gonna come. Goodbye. Goodbye. And so yeah, so sometimes people decide for me, and other times I have kind of a priority list depending on how much I know I'm gonna like the book. Some books that are kind of mystery, I'm gonna try them, and I don't really know. Some books I know I will like them because of the reviews I had or because it is a subject that I love. So I prioritize those. Those I already know I'm gonna love. I don't want to waste time or money. So I do that, and I also sometimes have my moments. Like right now, I'm always in fantasy. I'm always in a fantasy moment. But I have moments where I feel more like reading contemporary, and other moments like right now I'm in a spy moment. I think it's because of Spectre. I just went to watch James Bond a couple of days ago, and I think that's because of it. I'm in those kind of moments. I'm just in a spy moment, so I'm gonna pick up something that is going with a spy and that will make me happy. It also depends on the season. There are books that I only want to read in the summer, and books that make me feel cozy and warm and happy, and so I'm gonna read them during fall or winter. And of course, you have the winter books like fairy tales, and I still haven't finished My True Love Gave to Me because I only allow myself to read it from the 15th of November to the 1st of January. So after the 1st of January, I put it down. It's a Christmas story. I'm not reading a Christmas story in January. Need to move on. So I'm gonna pick it up again. So yeah, that's how I decide. Question 2. You're halfway through a book and you're just not loving it. Do you quit or are you committed? I'm committed. Like, except if it's a book that was forced on me by class, like, except if it's a book that I have to read for class. And you would think that in those cases I would force myself to finish them. I don't. You force me to read a book, it's bad, I don't like it, I'm not forcing myself. I'm gonna force myself to read Spark Notes, but that's all. If it's a book that I picked, or that was a gift, I'm committed. I'm going through. The only book I have put down recently is the third book of the Maze Runner series, and I know I'm gonna end up reading it at some point, maybe. So yeah, committed. I finish. Especially like sometimes I'm just 3/3 through the book and it's been hard and I just want to get rid of it. So I just sit down and I go through it in like an hour or so, and then I'm done and I can say I read it. I had to do this for the what's his name? I had to do this for Insurgent from the Divergent series. Like, it took me a month to go through the book. It gave me a reading slump. I don't have many reading slumps. And so, yeah, give me a reading slump. And so I put it down. I picked up another book, except I know that when I start another book, I'm not going to go back to the book I put down. So I forced myself to read it and motivated myself, saying, if you want to read this book, you need to finish Insurgent. So I go through. Ha. The end of the year is coming, and you're so close, but so far away on your Goodreads reading challenge. Do you try to catch up, and how? I'm generally kind of lazy on my Goodreads reading challenge. This year I picked 50 books. I've probably read already 50 books, except I always forget to add them on Goodreads, so then I can't remember if I've read them all or not. It's like one book a week, so that's okay. Sometimes I'm gonna read 5 books in a week, sometimes I'm gonna read 1 book in a month. So I never know. Generally I try to finish, like right now I'm like 15 books away, so I'm kind of okay, I'm not too late. Generally I'm gonna try to finish, but what I do is I'm cheating. Because Goodreads counts everything you read, including short stories. And that's what I've been doing, because I've been doing Tales of the Shadowhunter Academy by Cassandra Clare, who also wrote The Mortal Instruments, and I really love Simon. And so each time I read one of his short stories, it counts as a book. So yeah, cheating. But it's okay. It's still working, and Goodreads says it's fine, so it's fine. But I will try to catch up in general as much as I can. What I do have to say is that I generally take some. I'm usually kind of late because of my exams. Like the end of the year is kind of bad because I'm preparing my exams that are in very early January. So I'm trying to do both, but I don't always have the time. And I will always let my exam pass before books. Well, that's not true. Almost always. And how do I try to catch up? I do like during the weekends I'm alone in my flat. My boyfriend is away, so I just sit and I take all the books I have to read and I try to read as much as possible. And I always have a book in my bag. So I read on the subway, I read on the bus, I read between classes, I read at lunch when I have only half an hour and I don't have time to talk with people. I just read as much as I can. And sometimes, I'm gonna have an hour or two between classes, and instead of going out with my friends and drinking coffee, I'm gonna read a book. The covers of a series you love do not match. How do you cope? I don't cope. I hate when this happens. I have some. Can you see them? Let's see. Can you see my Heroes of Olympus? Can you see my Heroes of Olympus? Do not match. It's the same covers. It's the same design, and that's great. It's the same size. I can't cope. I had to separate them. The thing is, I can't afford to just buy books again and again. When I'm rich one day, maybe. But for now, I just try to accept it and move on. But yeah, it really annoys me. The only exception is my English Harry Potter series, because I have like one or two tomes of each edition I like, because I wanted to have them all, and I can't have Harry Potter 4 times. I could, but I do not have the room or the money. And I'm planning one day when I have my kids to buy the illustrated version. So Harry Potter is the only one where I can really cope. Otherwise, I buy them in box sets to try to have them as similar as possible. And when I don't have this occasion, I try to buy them sometimes, like people that are reselling them or stuff like this. But sometimes you just have to accept it. And even box sets sometimes betray you. Like last year I got the Vampire Academy series, which I really loved. And the first book had Girls of the Movie on it. So it doesn't match. I have no words. Everyone and their mother love a book you really don't like. Who do you bond with over shared feelings? My boyfriend. He's fine with reading. He's fine with me reading, of course. He just doesn't like the books I read. First of all, he thinks most of the books I read are ridiculous. And so, if I really don't like a book and everybody's talking about it, I just have to talk to him about it in a really bad light, and then he'll just say, "Sure, honey, you're right. Seems like it sucks." Book, and you're about to start crying in public. How do you deal? I cry in public. I mean, I try to cry quietly. Like, it happens a lot to me on trains because I'm taking the train a lot to see my family and my friends, and so sometimes I'm reading a book and it's really emotional and I just can't hold it in, and so I try to just like go like this, like a bit like a shell, and cry very quietly and hide myself behind my book like this. And I just try to be as quiet and as discreet as possible. But you know what? If you can't understand a girl crying over a book, you're not worth my time. And the third book of the Vampire Academy series, I was reading them on the same train, and I both finished them on that train. And I burst out crying. People looked at me weird. Oh well. Of the book you love just came out, but you've forgotten a lot from the prior novel. Will you reread the book? Skip the sequel? Try to find a synopsis on Goodreads? Cry in frustration? Well, if I have time, I'm gonna reread the books. I like to wait, not always. Like, there are certain cases where I'm not gonna wait. And, like, for example, Mortal Instruments, I didn't wait because I knew I loved it too much, and I'm not gonna wait for the Dark Artifices. The second the first book is out, I'm gonna just jump on it. But otherwise, on new authors that I don't know, I try to wait for the series to be complete if it's not too long. For example, Game of Thrones, I haven't started, but I'm gonna start it even though it's not finished. Because I just want to know and I want to read them, and everybody's telling me so much good things about it, and I love the show. So I'm gonna start them. But other books I started the Lunar Chronicles because I know winter is coming this month, and so I'm asking them for Christmas, and I'll read them all together. So I don't have to wait and I don't have to rethink about it. I did the same thing with the Heroes of Olympus. I read the first book, and even, no matter how much I loved it, back then I wasn't really able to read in English as much as I can now. And so it kind of like was kind of hard, and so I put it down, I said later when I have a better level. And I came back to it in June when the World of Olympus came out. I just read them all in 1 week, and I was very happy. Otherwise, if it's not the case, I generally have a really good memory, so that works out, but I try to reread them. If I have the time, I try to reread them. If I don't, Goodreads. And cry. I'll just try to catch up. Anyone borrowing your books? People nope when they ask. Well, I really don't like people borrowing my books. I'm very possessive over them. I don't like people touching them. I never knew where they put their hands before, and I really care about the dust jackets. And once when I was 15, I lent a book to my sister, who I thought I could trust. And she brought it back highlighted, dog-eared, and in a terrible state. I cried. I cried over it. Like, we were sitting at the table having lunch, and I cried. So she kept it. She still has to buy it back with me. I'm waiting. And otherwise, yeah, I lend a few to my best friend because she's about as bad as I am, so that's alright. But very, very rarely. I lend some to my boyfriend, like the Iron Trial and the Copper Gauntlet. People have really liked it, and I lent it to him because he's reading next to me, so I know I can like watch what he's doing. But besides that, I just try to tell them I'm sorry. I just I don't like lending my books. It's really good what you want to read and everything, but it's either you take my book and you know you might die if you bring it back in a very bad state and you'll have to pay it back, and if it's something that was sentimental to me, I'm not talking to you ever again, or you don't borrow my book. Often, I try to walk around it like. Some of my friends live far away, so I tell them I'll bring it next time, and I don't. But otherwise, I try to be honest about it and just say no. No way. Question. Reading ADD. You've picked up and put down 5 books in the last month. How do you get over your reading slump? I wait. If I have been trying to read other genres already, like sometimes you have a reading slump and it's just about one thing. Like you've read too much of this and you just can't anymore. Sometimes a book is just bad, and so you need to pick up a new book that you know you're gonna like. What I do, if it's a really bad reading slump, I reread books I know I love. Harry Potter, Bague des Marchands, Vampire Academy, anything. Just something that I know I loved. Or if that doesn't even work, I just wait. I mean, maybe I'm just not in the mood to read it. Maybe that's okay. So maybe that's okay. So I try to wait as long as I possibly can. And I try to get excited over things I've been looking forward. Like Dark Artifices, if I have a reading slump right now, I know that in January also I'll have a new book, and I know that I've been waiting for it and I'm going to be excited, so I try to think about this and reread the books that are linked to this. It's really the only thing you can do. Try to pick up new books, try to pick up books you know you've loved, and if that doesn't work, I guess you just have to wait. You'll survive. New book coming out that you're dying to read. How many do you actually buy? Like I said before, I have a wish list on Amazon, so I put them on my wish list, and I really hope that I'll get them for Christmas and for my birthday. When those are books that are sequel to series I've already started, I buy them. no matter how many. So I buy them right away because I'm gonna want to read them right away. I know so. Sometimes I even pre-order them a lot before, like a long time before, like I did for The Blood of Olympus and for the last book of the Mortal Instruments, City of Heavenly Fire. I pre-ordered it months before. And so yeah, I do that. I buy them all. Except if I'm in a really bad financial situation, in which case I try to order in my head by excitement, like which book am I the most excited for, in which case I'm just gonna buy this one. Because I know I like to buy them all together because I just like to know I have them. But at the same time, when it's a book I've really been looking forward to, I don't want to jump between many books. When I am reading several books at once, it's either I'm rereading a book and I'm reading a new book, or it's books that I'm not especially interested in. So I'm reading a book for class, and the book that I've had was good, but you know, it's fine, but I'm not really excited. So I buy them. After you've bought the books, you can't wait to get to. How long do they sit on your shelf before you get to them? This is why I try to be reasonable. Most times, the books I really, really want to read, if they're sequels, I read them right away. Except in the case of City of Heavenly Fire, which I had been waiting for so long, and he just sat on the side of my bed because I had already started another series of books, and I was in this series of books, and I wanted to finish it before going to City of Heavenly Fire. Otherwise, if it's a sequel, I'm picking it up right now. If it is a series of books that I haven't started but I'm excited to read, may take quite a long time. I've had the Heroes of Olympus away 5 years, even though I had them all, except Blood of Olympus. The second I got Blood of Olympus, I started them though. I had brand new energy and I wanted to read them. On my shelf, I have had for 2 years, and they were gifts, and I haven't gotten around to read them, but I know I will. Generally, it's just like a few months. Like, it depends. Like, so once I receive a lot on Christmas and on my birthday, and I try to, even though I read a lot, they may wait for a couple months. Some others, like my sister got me Hannah and the French Kiss for my last Christmas, and it's still up there because I'm waiting for the last book. And I'm not sure I'm gonna like it, but you know, I'll try it out. So yeah, my TBR is really long and it can wait a bit on my shelves. It can be a week, it can be a year, it can be more. Some books I've had for years and I have never read them. Like, I got the bunch of books I've got in high school because I thought I would like them, and now I just kind of not interested. And like I said, I have moments. Maybe when I asked for those books, I was really into a moment, and then I moved on. That's really all I can say. So you'll just have to wait for the moment to come back. In this video, I hope you enjoyed it. If you want to do the tag, please do, because I'm not gonna tag anyone. And if you want to just tell me what you thought and how you react in the comments on Tumblr, I would love that. Thank you so much.